very funky Friday to you. This week we're going to shake things up a bit with a new segment. We've challenged our resident mixologist to capture the spirit of her bandmates in the form of a mocktail. Introducing Lauren's Libations.
Hey guys, welcome to Lauren's Libations, a new segment of Funky Friday that'll be presented to you once a month by yours truly. Essentially what we're doing today is definitely making our way into the mocktail world. Some of you may know what that is, some of you have heard it as mocktail, zero proof, NA beverage, whatever. Doesn't really matter what you call it. It basically is a non-alcoholic beverage that you're going to be enjoying. The purpose for this was more so that we realized that, well, some of us in the band don't drink, and also there's a lot of fans out there who also may abstain from drinking for whatever reasons that they do. And also, from what I've heard, quarantine's been a little rough on the drinking, and most people have realized that they kind of want to have a beverage, but it doesn't want to be alcohol. Like maybe you're having a nice movie night with the family, or dinner, or whatever it may be, and you really want something other than a can of soda or Gatorade or whatever it is that you may enjoy, and instead having something a little fancier. That's basically what this segment's about. I decided to create very individualized cocktails for each band member in the group by kind of tailoring to their likes and dislikes, allergies, dietary restrictions, anything in that nature, and also taking into consideration what their favorite spirit is. The beautiful thing about spirits is, maybe most people don't know, is it's really infused with just botanicals. So you're really picking up flavor profiles of certain things within that alcohol that you're tasting. So we can still bring those notes forward without there actually being alcohol. Now, you're not gonna get the burn like that, because that's a whole different story, but that's not what we're doing here. So yeah, I think this is a kind of a cool way to kind of go about exploring how flavors can be really complementary of one another, learning some new tricks and trades of how you can make simple syrups or infuse different types of liquids, and kind of adding your own spin to it. What I'll be doing for the most part is taking traditional cocktails that you may have heard of before, maybe not, and turning them into a version of themselves. So with that, I think we should start talking to Mac and introduce her cocktail today. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Lauren's Libations here for you for the first ever on Funky Friday. This is going to be the new segment that we were talking about, and we have Mac here. Hello, Mac.
Hello.
Hello, hello. I love the outfit. Very cute, very chic.
Thank you. I was inspired by your mocktail. I won't tell them too much just yet.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about that in the beginning, but what we're trying to do here is I'm trying to tailor cocktails specific for bandmates. Who knows if this keeps going further, maybe for other artists or maybe some fans, who knows?
Hey, I like it.
All right. But what happened with Mac was it was more of a conversation. I think as we talk about doing dealer's choice and being in the food and beverage industry, being a bartender is a really cool thing to be able to have an open environment to all these ingredients in different styles. So I talked to Mac a little bit about what her favorite things are, what some likes and dislikes are of hers, and we kind of honed in on some ingredients. So not to give away too many things, but what I came into terms with her is that she likes gin. She is a bourbon, but she loves gin. So that was a really interesting spirit to bring up. She also likes pretty much any kind of herbs, more of the citrus notes of like lemon or lime. And if I'm able to say this, but I believe a little bit of allergies or dietary restrictions to be aware of. Am I right?
Yes. I am actually, for those of you who don't know, I am diabetic. So I have to be really mindful of the amount of sugar that I consume.
Correct. Yeah. And from
That's why I'm so sweet.
Yeah, from what I know too, I think women have to intake less than men too, or whatever. I don't know, some unfair bullshit.
That sounds about right. I mean, we deal with enough of the crap in the world that we should probably take less of a lot of things.
Right. So when she told me that too, I also wanted to make sure that I was being, understanding of that, and knowing that, in certain realms of that, maybe not as much sugar. It's hard to negate it completely, as sugar's in everything, even fruits. But however, I can kind of tailor with some ingredients. So because being diabetic, most of the beverages she drinks are, tea or black coffee or water,
True.
kombucha, things in that nature. So I came up with a classic cocktail that y'all might know of as a French 75 to do a mocktail version of.
All right.
That's the one we're going to be doing. Traditionally, that is simply just lemon juice, champagne, gin, simple syrup. I thought because of your background a little bit, I thought French 75 was fitting for you. Do you want to maybe elaborate on why that would be fitting?
I love it. Well, I mean, honestly, when I saw the ingredients, I thought, yeah, that's me. That sounds right. It's got like that little tang, that lemon in there. The gin, of course, obviously this one will not because it's a mocktail, but more so because I have studied in France. I actually speak French fluently. So you call it the French 75. I call it the 75. Which is actually just 75 en français, if you will.
The first time I heard her speak French, I was like, "Excuse me, like, wait, what? Like, I didn't even know this about you." And I think that's the beauty of our band too, is that we still start to learn like little things about each other. And I thought that was a really cool thing to learn about for you, which was kind of fitting when you said gin. Like my brain started just going off and being like, "Cool, French 75. This makes so much sense." And I also
love it.
A very, very classy, chic beverage. It's bubbly, it's effervescent, it has a little kick with the lime and the lemon. So I thought this was the right choice.
I can't wait to taste this. Actually, I'm really excited about. I remember the one that I had. Actually, you and I did a show at the Hen House, and they had some kind of like customized French 75s for an event. I can't remember what they named them, but
oh, that's right. Yeah, kind of tailoring to and that's the beauty of it. Is there are classic cocktails out there, right? But there's still a plethora of different ingredients and different cocktails and different ideas that you can take. I've created dozens of different types of cocktails because it just depends on what kind of environment you're in and what you're looking for.
Surely.
And it's really cool to be able to do that because I think it starts to open your creative mind in a different way. We're creative in a music way, but you could also be creative in a beverage way. So I think this is
right.
the thing. So we'll go over the basic ingredients here. So small, we got a club or sparkling water, plain sparkling water. I love my flavored sparkling water. Don't get me wrong. For this particular cocktail, let's just keep it plain. We have kombucha here. With her flavor profiles and the things that we're working, I chose a ginger tea kombucha. Obviously, all kinds of brands, all types of flavors. Ginger is a very aromatic flavor that also works well with lemon, works well with sweet, and kind of adds that extra like texture, if you will. So I thought that this would be a good kombucha to work with. Any brand doesn't really matter. It's just a matter of getting one that isn't going to be overpowering, somewhere like blueberry pomegranate that would just take it in a whole different direction, right?
Right.
And then we have tonic water. So tonic water, seltzer water, club soda, they're all different. Seltzer and club soda are a little bit closer in terms of what they are. Tonic water is completely different. Quicken is what's in it. So it's basically an aromatic. It's very bitter flavor profile. It is usually sweetened because it is bitter, but that's why it works well with gin, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for this particular instance, I use Diet Tonic. And most people who are looking for a skinny cocktail are going to go with Diet Tonic anyway. So
I'm looking for a skinny body. I guess the cocktail will have to suffice.
They did that for you, but it's fine. Everything's fine. It's COVID life. No, it doesn't matter. These
exactly
right now, okay. Of keeping down the sugar, we want to make sure we keep down the sugar. You can definitely use regular tonic. It's not going to mess with this recipe very much. It'll just make it a little bit sweeter. So maybe dial it back in terms of how much you add to it.
Gotcha.
Obviously, too, we talked about the jigger and what you do with that. So there are a few things to know as you start to get yourself into this part of the kitchen, if you will. Not everybody has the tools, and totally understandable. For the most part, you can kind of find whatever you need around the house. There are going to be particular things that are being used for today's cocktail or for the future ones that you may not have around. For instance, this guy is a jigger. There's different varieties of these. You have a 1 ounce on the very bottom here and a 2 ounce pour on the top. Some are 1.5 ounce and 3/4 of an ounce on the top and bottom. Really, you just want to make sure you look at it, see what it is. When we're doing things at home like this, it's really about just the equal parts, right? Are we doing a 1-to-1 part, or are we doing a 2-to-1 part? So you'll start to see the ingredients that I use and the ounces that I put in there, and you can really work in that sense at home. You can use a measuring cup if we want to do anything in that nature. We can use quarter cups, teaspoons, tablespoons to really kind of incorporate those into you if you don't have one of these handy dandy guys. But it's always good to have something around the house to measure. Whatever kind of vessel you want to make sure that you're getting these 1-to-1 ratios or 2-to-1 ratios. Again, this is just fun, right? So you can definitely start with the base that I've given you and maybe switch it up a little bit. Maybe it's too sweet, maybe it's not sweet enough, maybe there's a little too much lemon, maybe there's not enough. Figure it out.
Mix it up. Well, you are the mixologist, so I didn't get the jigger, but I have something I think our users and viewers are going to be able to identify with very easily if they don't have one.
Yeah, I think it's go into your kitchen and get what you can, especially if we're stuck indoors. Be creative. I think that's what it's about, right? If you can find something. I boil my water in different ways than some other people do. So, let's just do what we do.
I didn't even know there were ways, but now I'm thinking about that.
How is this? How is this? So we talked about the simple syrup a little bit and what that was. All right, let's talk about simple syrup. It's a very, very easy process. This one that we're doing is a 1-to-1 process. So you're looking at 1 part sugar, 1 part water. That's it. Essentially, you just want to get hot water and then dissolve the sugar into that by mixing it consistently so that it turns into a liquid form. For me, I don't have a lot of people around in my life at the moment, so I don't need a lot of simple syrup, as you may imagine. So 8 ounces is plenty for me. However you want to do that, I would say no more than 16 ounces, and I would say that for the most part, simple syrup doesn't last longer than maybe about a month in the fridge. You definitely want to keep it in the fridge. If you want to do 4 ounces of sugar and then 4 ounces of water, or 8 ounces of sugar, 8 ounces of water, fine. Just make sure it's a 1-to-1 ratio. Other than that, that's going to be the simplest form of that. Once you have it done, now we want to infuse a simple syrup. That depends on what you're looking at. For this particular instance, with the ingredients that I'm using, I want to make sure that I'm infusing that simple syrup right away after I've made it, so that the liquid is still warm, still in contact, so those aromatics start to break up and really infuse that liquid. All right, guys, so here are the ingredients that we'll be using for the simple syrup. You have the juniper here. This is very much a botanical of gin. All of these are botanicals of gin, but these two are definitely more known for these to be more of that. You have the rich and piney flavor, almost woodsy-like flavor profile from this little berry here. Very pliable, kind of breaks up. I want to just make sure you kind of crush those up a little bit. Coriander here, as you may know, really nice spice. Again, almost like a nutty flavor. Cinnamon stick, you want to use about a half a stick or a small stick like this for the particular amounts that we're doing. Do break it up and make sure that it is kind of like broken in half and into pieces. Next is going to be the star anise. You also have here, this almost has the licorice smell to it, which is also a part of one of the botanicals. So that's why you want to use this instead of licorice. It's not quite as pungent, but it definitely is there. And then we also have the lemon peel. Lemon peel, you can take about 2 or 3 slices of the peel itself to put in there. Not much more than that, but it really brightens it up. And then we also have the rosemary. This is not traditional like flavor profile or herb for gin, but I think for Mac specifically, she definitely does enjoy rosemary. So I thought infusing that as well was going to give it a really nice, well-rounded balance for the simple syrup with all these ingredients. So we talked about the simple syrup a little bit and what that was. I did get it strained out. So it is just the clear liquid. It have all those aromatics in there. The particular amount of aromatics that you'll have for this type will be in the link below in the description.
Mine are still in there, so maybe they can kind of see those.
Nowhere between 48 hours for something like this type of simple syrup will be good because those are very, very aromatic spices in there.
Gotcha.
So things like the cinnamon or the star anise, you kind of want to take those out because they'll start to get a little bit more bitter, and not in the bitter way that you're looking for, but
Ah,
a way that might, just kill the simple syrup a little bit.
gotcha.
But obviously this is our gin aspect. So, right, if we're doing a classic mocktail, it's not something new or whatever, and I'm just trying to base it off old one, I'm still trying to give you, what you might realize of a gin or those flavor profiles. So that's what the simple syrup in this component is for that. It's giving
That makes sense. I didn't realize that. I thought, how is she gonna get that going? But that makes, okay.
So you could do this with other spirits too. I mean, even if you weren't doing it when you were doing, any kind of tequila or vodka, right? You can infuse those as well with flavor profiles. You can add them and up their aromatics that they already have. It's just up to you how you want to do that. And for me, I think with the flavor profiles that were given, the simple syrup made the most sense. Now we talked about the addition of rosemary, which is not traditional of a gin botanical, but very reminiscent of you. I think it's nice and woodsy, and it's there, it's prominent. It's not overbearing though. It's just like you feel it, you get it, and you're like, I love it. And
Yes. I hope that's what people say. Gosh.
So that's what I say. So everybody else says, who cares, right? Let the haters hate.
Right.
So basically, we want to start building this cocktail.
Got my flute. Should I go ahead and strain my simple syrup?
What's that?
Should I go ahead and strain my simple syrup? Are we going to add the ingredients directly to the glass?
Exactly, yeah. So let's just show the viewers how you will strain your simple.
Like Lauren mentioned, we are on quarantine. I do not live in an environment where there are all kinds of kitchen gadgets. So I made a quick run to the store to get a reusable K-cup that has kind of like a metal screen, and that's going to be my sieve for my simple syrup.
It works, right? If it works, use it. Be creative. Don't let anything
Try
go
it
to.
out here. So I'm going to take it. You can see the herbs there.
And no more than like 48 hours for that to sit in there. Since we're doing it as a hot steeped simple syrup, it's already picking up all the flavors by the next day usually. So
There it goes.
if you want to, get antsy about it and use it that same night, go for it. It's still going to be present. It just won't be as full-bodied present for that instance.
Okay, we are getting there. It seems this actually works.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, so I've got a little measuring cup here and kind of working with what we got, right?
Fun fact, the French 75 here that we are doing for Mac was actually introduced in 1915 in Paris, is where it was first originated from, where it was consisting of the lemon juice, champagne, and the gin. I think that this is just kind of one of those special and very prominent cocktails that you can see globally because where it came from and how long it's been around. With the sparkling water, let's just try to make sure it's not flavored. If it is, like lemon will be fine, maybe lime, but lime and lemon are very different flavors, so we'll make it a little bit different, but whatever you kind of have to work with that. So we'll kind of open this side up first.
Alrighty. Now, the biggest concern I have with opening this can is potentially breaking my nails. I just want you to know if that happens, I am going to cry throughout the making of this beverage.
Cocktail.
Got that all out. Okay, and I've got my unsweetened sparkling water. I'm going to open very carefully. Got it.
There we go. You can already work behind the bar. All right, let's get your jobs out there. What's happening? All right, so we got 2 ounces of the sparkling water is what we're gonna put in.
All right, so 2 ounces. Let's see here. So I ended up using a tablespoon because I don't have a jigger, so I'm going to use 4 tablespoons of the
And we talked,
soda.
you know, we got to use what we have, and not everybody has bar tools at home, and that's totally fine. It's about being creative, and as long as you're using the ratios right, there's every which way. I get math is hard. Don't get me wrong, I understand that. So feel free to convert that, or if not, we may even just add that at the bottom of the description page as well. So that way, you should probably have some tablespoons around, I would think, unless you live with a bunch of guys, but you know.
It's a rough life. It's a rough life.
Cool. So we got the 2 ounces in there.
Okay.
We want to do 1.5 ounces of the kombucha. Now, this particular one, you want to make sure that you read them because it depends. This one is a don't shake me. So I'm
I was just going to say, yeah, some of them get weird.
Yeah, some of them get weird. Some of them have, you know, chia seeds or whatever the hell in them and get all weird. I'm not a huge fan of kombucha. I think they're really tasty, but I usually like them once in a great while more so than all the time. So I think this is kind of a perfect place to put it because once I actually created this cocktail, I was like, oh, this is pretty good. Like I can drink, you know, kombucha pretty well here. But
I love them until, I mean, I could drink kombucha every day until I get one that's got like a pretty sizable mother in it, you know, like the bacteria, it like hits my lips as I'm drinking it, and then I kind of remember what it is. I stay away for a while.
I can't get past that. I think some of them are just a little too chunky on the bottom, and I just, you know, texture for me, you know, I'm not opposed to it, but sometimes it's a little much. So 1.5 ounces of the kombucha. This is basically adding just a little bit of the sweetness. It's also adding a little bit of that effervescence. So remember, the original French 75 had champagne as its base. So that's why I'm using 3 different types that are having bubbles in them. They're all 3 different kinds of bubbles, and they have 3 different kinds of flavors. So a yeasty flavor profile, which is what champagne is, basically, right? So you get that yeasty component from champagne. You're getting that from the kombucha. Actual big bubbles that you're used to seeing during the fermentation process of champagne through the sparkling water. And
nice.
Tonic not only is bringing you bubbles, but it's bringing you that very bitter flavor that almost hits you in the back of the throat, right? So that's what's reminiscent of almost having liquor. It's not going to hit you like liquor. You're not going to feel it in your chest. You're not going to, you know, because it's not, but you're still going to get
all the better
in the mouthfeel. So, and tonic water. So we'll go with the tonic water, which will be, let's look at this, 1.5 ounces.
Okay. Ooh.
Now,
so the quinine is really good for leg cramps too. I don't know if you knew that.
Which one is?
The quinine in the tonic is good for leg cramps. Yeah.
So see, you can, you know, feel like you're not getting cramped up later whatever you do later. I don't know what that is, but you know, after a few of these beverages, you know, you can go on a run. You don't have to worry about it.
Oh.
Actually, I don't promote run after this. That sounds terrible.
I think you're definitely one of the more athletic members of the band. I don't fall into that that grouping or category. All
right. Cool. So next, now we're going to start adding the simple syrup and the lemon juice, basically. So again, since Mac is diabetic, I'm going to have her go with the 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. For anybody who feels okay with it, I would go with a full ounce. I think it's going to balance it out just a little bit better because we're also going to add the lemon juice, and the lemon juice combats that. So for Mac's end, since we are doing 1 ounce of simple and a 1/2 ounce of lemon, she's basically going to do a 1/2 ounce of the simple and then play with the lemon by ear. And I suggest the same thing for you guys at home. If you aren't really a huge citrus fan, add a little and keep going until you feel comfortable. You can always add more, but you can't take it out, right? So you don't want to ruin your beverage right at the very tail end of you creating it. So just make sure that however you do that, just here. It's all about flavors. It's all about liking this beverage, right? It's not science. It's not like
Exactly.
this.
No, for sure.
You make it. You do it. Cool.
I'm
So,
gonna throw my towel over my shoulder here. It makes me feel like more official now that I'm in the bar. Okay, let's see.
1 ounce.
This is the biggest lemon I've ever seen in the world. I should tell you guys that Lauren is not only the mixologist, but also delivered the components that I was going to need for this drink. So this is...
You know, I'm not sure if the fans know or not, or any of our viewers, but as a band, we're completely digital. I mean, the last time we saw each other completely together
was what?
February? March? No.
Yeah.
February?
March. It was the 13th. It was Friday the 13th.
Friday
I think is
show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where you know, it's like we also haven't seen each other. So, you know, the small things that I get to do, like, hey, bring her, you know, some or bring the next
masked up at a distance. It's crazy to think.
and being like, hey, how you doing? That's as far as we're getting. This is our you know, communication right now. But I would say that we're still loving it, and it's allowing our creative juices to keep because we're moving forward with different ways. Cool.
Creative juices and lemon juices. I now have all over my area here, but this is looking good.
Oh, you got it? Okay, perfect. And so I'm gonna add a little.
Yeah.
And then, oh, if you want to get fancy and you want to garnish, you can always just garnish a little guy. I should have done this beforehand. I was all caught up in the making of this video. And you want to just express a little bit of that. That's basically just getting the pill on the back end and just doing this. That'll express the oils from the lemon within there. You just drop it in there, and that's it.
Interesting.
And then you just got a little cocktail, little mocktail there. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh my God.
That's pretty good.
It's actually really good. This is refreshing. Like I could see drinking this often, honestly, without the gin. Like I love what the kombucha brings. Mm-hmm. Like I kind of taste that lemon is definitely.
Yeah, I think it's midday brunch. You know, if you're thinking mimosa, like Shane just out for a mimosa, hanging out in a sunny day because we live in Texas, so it'll be hot for the rest of the world. And
I know we had a false fall. I got really excited about it. We were down to the high 60s, and and they were gone in the blink of an eye.
55 today, so I don't know. So anyways, yeah, perfect summer cocktail or just Texas cocktail because you're thinking, you know, hey, it's always going to be hot. So yeah, just really nice and easy. Again, want to just kind of create what we can for each little member, and I think this is the perfect Mac cocktail for.
I can dig it. No, do I say it tastes like me? I don't know, but anyway, this is good.
You could say whatever. I think you could say whatever. I don't know if we'll get censored.
Is that something I could tell others? Yeah. This is seriously really good, Lauren. Like I think once I get done with this one, I'm gonna make myself another one.
Yeah, no, and that's a great thing too, is you can kind of tinker with it, right? And kind of, hey, maybe you want some more kombucha, maybe you want some more sparkling. Have at it, you know? Again, too, because her being diabetic, I made sure that these quantities, once I did kind of the nutritional information on this one brings in about 7 grams of sugar for hers with a ½ ounce of simple, and less than, I think it's about 65 calories. Whereas if we're looking at what, like a can of Coke is like some god-awful 36 grams.
God, insane amounts.
But a normal cocktail would still have sugar because you're thinking, oh, well, there's no sugar in my cocktail because it's just gin and tonic. That's all I had.
Right.
You got your tonic, which has sugar in it, and you got your gin, which got sugar in it. So again, trying to make this a little bit more, you know, friendlier for you, and also it's cleaner. You're not going to wake up hungover by any means. You're just going to have a nice classy cocktail with your friends and be done. And that's it.
I love that idea. That is a feeling that I do not actually like, is being hungover or just kind of dredged down because of a drink. So I appreciate that. I would make this for my male roommates. I don't know if they would drink it, but
I mean, you could try. Why not? Cool. Well, I appreciate you being my first guest on doing this whole segment. I think it's a fun segment. I think people might like it. Please comment and rate. Leave any kind of comments on maybe some questions you have or anything that has sparked your interest in the past, and maybe I can even figure those out or answer those, or move forward with some other information. But yeah, thanks for tuning in for Lauren's Libations, and we'll be doing this once a month. So we'll see you soon. All right, bye guys.
again.